What's up, my math party people? Anderson here, your math coach. And in this video, what we're gonna be going over now, it's gonna be converting improper fractions into mixed numbers. So in the previous video for the worksheet that we have going on here, that you can probably find the link to right here if you're on YouTube, or if you're in the course, just go up one section and you'll see it. But you will see that we have gone through simplifying fractions, and now we're taking it to the next level with, right here, turning improper fractions into mixed numbers. So I'm going to take you through the easy section here, the medium and the hard, going through a couple of examples, showing you how it's done. And then from there, if you're in the course, again, just go to the next section, try that worksheet out. And then beyond that, go to the speed drill so you can really practice your skills and see how confident you are. So let's go ahead and get started, my party people. Here we go. Number one. So we want to turn 27 over 18 into a mixed number. So here's the best way to kind of do this. If you're trying to turn an improper into a mixed number, first thing I'm going to suggest is, well, simplify the fraction first. And that's why the previous part here was about simplifying fractions. So step one, simplify the fraction. Step two, convert. So I'll write that over here for my party people. Again, step one, go ahead and simplify it. And step two, convert. Okay, that's how we want to get this done. So here we go. 27 over 18. Again, simplifying fractions. If you are not sure how to do this, then go back to that video. But at this point, I do expect you to have that down. So let's move forward. 27 and 18. What do they both have in common that I can divide out? Well, we know that 27 is 9 times 3 and 18 is 9 times 2. So I can simplify this by canceling out those 9s, giving me 3 over 2. And look at that. 3 over 2 is a lot easier to deal with than 27 over 18. Again, you're reducing it to smaller numbers, which is awesome, because now what we can do is we can turn this into a mixed number way easier. Now we can convert. So what we're going to ask yourself is this. Here's how to convert. You're going to ask yourself, well, hey, how many times does 2 go into 3? Well, 2 goes into 3 one time, right? It goes into it one time. But then what's left over? Well, if you take away 2 from 3, so 3 minus 2, that's 1. That's your remainder, a remainder of 1, and you keep that denominator 2. So 3 over 2 is the same as saying 1.5, and that's why the answer here would be B. But just to show you a different way to think about it in terms of converting, here's another way you can do it. You can go ahead and ask yourself this. You can say, hey, if I divide 2 into 3, what do I get? Well, 2 goes into 3 one whole time. Hear that again, one whole time. So this is going to be right here, your whole. That's your whole, and that's this right here. That's your 1. That's your 1. And then, well, what's your remainder? Well, again, 2 times 1 is 2. So you take away the 2, and then you have a remainder of 1. So this right here, that's your remainder. So you have 1 left over out of the 2 that you divided by. So 1 and 1/2. So again, that's why B is the answer. Let me show you another example here, because again, this is the easy section. We're going to go into the medium and hard sections in a moment here. So number 2. Hey, before we get to crushing this problem, just wanted to remind you about my ASVAB All-Access Program. So if you have test anxiety, if you blank out on word problems, if you're frustrated and can't keep a solid study schedule, then this program is there to support you. Long story short, you're going to be able to text me whenever you need help. You get all of the classes and the recording so you can work around your schedule whenever you need to. On top of that, you're going to get access to over 2,000 practice problems that let you learn from every mistake by watching video solutions to those math questions. Not like a textbook where you have to figure it out on your own. On top of that, there are way more features like practice tests, study guides, flashcard sets, all that good stuff. So go ahead, either text me or check out the link either somewhere here in this video or in the description. That way you can keep raising your score and get the job you want, because that's what you're here for at the end of the day. Again, I'm Coach Anderson. Check out the All-Access Program and sign up, and then keep going watching this video so you can keep crushing it. I'll see you there. Woo! 144 over 126. Like I said, 2 steps. To convert, first make sure it's simplified. Get it into the simplest form possible, because I would rather you deal with smaller numbers than bigger numbers. That's the point of this. So 144 over 126, simplify it. If you don't know what numbers go into both 144 and 126 yet, if you can't see it entirely, then just think about smaller numbers first and keep going. 144 and 126 are both divisible by 2. because they're both even. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and divide both of them by 2, the top and the bottom. And what we end up having is going to be what? Well, 140 is divisible by 2, so that's 70. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 70 and 2 is 72. 126. Well, 120 is divisible by 2 to get 60. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 63. So right now we have 72 over 63. Now from here, it might be a little easier to see what can be divided into both 72 and 63. And in this case, it's going to be 9. Because what I know is that 72 is 9 times 8, and 63 is 9 times 7. So knowing that, I can go ahead and say, hey, my party people, right there, y'all two are going to go on a little vacation. I'm going to cancel y'all out. And so I end up having 8 over 7, and there we go. So now that we have it in simplest terms, because again, 8 and 7 don't have anything in common now I can go ahead and convert this into a mixed number. So 7 goes into 8 how many times? Well, 1 time. And so then you subtract what you had there. So if it goes in there 1 time, 7 times 1 is 7. So 8 minus 7, that's a remainder of 1. There's 1 left over, and you keep the same denominator, 1 and 1/7. Again, the other way you can look at it as is like this. 7 goes into 8, 1 time, and that's your whole, right there. And then when you subtract the 7, you have 1 left over. That is your remainder. That is that's what's remaining in your numerator. And you keep that denominator the same. And so there it is, 1 and 1/7. Let's keep moving forward here. Number 3. So we have 24 over 16. So 24 over 16, if we check this out, well, simplify first. 24 and 16 are both divisible by 8. Because that's going to give me 3 over 2. And so 3 over 2, as we saw earlier, 3 over 2 is 1.5. Because 2 goes into 3 1 time. And then you have a remainder of half. Because if you subtract the 2 away, again, you took away one of the holes that would have been it there, then you're left with 1/2, 1 over 2. Next up, number 4, and then we're going into the harder section here. So what you're going to notice is these easier ones, they reduce pretty cleanly, pretty nicely. When we go into the medium and hard sections, you'll see something pretty different. So step 1 here, go ahead and simplify. Here we go. We're going to divide each of these by 6. Because 36 and 30 are both divisible by 6. 36 divided by 6 is 6. 30 divided by 6 is 5. 6 over 5, then you're going to ask yourself, how many times does 5 go into 6? 1 time. Then you take away that 5, and you're left with 1/5. 1 and 1/5 would be the answer. But I think that's enough of the easier ones, right? We want to check out those harder ones with different numbers, with larger numbers, because when you take your test, it's very likely that we're going to be dealing with some more complicated values. So let's go ahead and find this next section. Let's go. Scrolling on down, here we go. Here's the medium section. So convert the following improper fraction into a mixed number. Let's get it done. So we have number 16 over here. 820 over 80. What can we do here? Well, first and foremost, again, same thing. Simplify it first. Give yourself an easier time. 820 and 80, what do they both have in common? Well, what they both have in common is going to be that they end in 0. If numbers end in 0, what that tells me is this. They both end in 0 means that they're both divisible by 10. And the shortcut way to divide by 10, take away that 0. Take away that 0. So now we have 82 over 8. And so can we continue simplifying this? Yeah, we can. Because guess what? 82 and 8 are both even numbers. And what do we know? With even numbers, they're both divisible by 2. So I'll divide them both by 2. And in doing so, I get 41 over 4. Now, do 41 and 4 have anything in common? No. 41 is actually a prime number. 41 doesn't have any other factors other than 1 in itself. 4 is 2 times 2. 2 does not go into 41. It's not even. And so now we're ready to go. Now we're ready to turn this into a mixed number. How do we do that again? Again, you ask yourself, how many times does the denominator... Wow, that's huge. Let me go ahead and change this up a little bit. How many times does the denominator go into the numerator? And so let me show you again with the long division how this can really work for you. So here, 4 goes into 41 how many times? Well, 4 goes into 4 one time. Subtract the 4, you get the 0. Then bring down the 1. 4 goes into 1 0 times. So what you have here, what you have for yourself is 10. It goes into 41. 4 goes into 41 10 whole times. So this is your whole. Whoa. Whole. Let me spell that correctly. 10 whole times. So this turns into 10. And then here's your remainder. You got a leftover of 1. And so what that tells me here is that you're going to have 1 left over out of the 4. Again, your denominator stays the same. Right over here, this is the whole number of times. And then this is the remainder once you divide it out. This is what remains. Booyah, just like that. So you have 10 and 1/4 or 10 and a quarter, and that is B. So my party people, let's keep it going here. Because again, this is the medium section. We're going to take it to the hard section in a moment. But let's go to number 17 here. We've got 60 over 48. First things first, everybody. Remember, simplify the fraction. It's easier to do that when you're dealing with this because you're going to be dealing with smaller numbers. Because if you don't simplify now, you're going to have to simplify at the end anyway. So you might as well deal with smaller numbers when you do that. So here we go. 60 and 48. With some advanced knowledge, or not even, if you practice your multiplication tables and you know how to divide, you know that these are both divisible by 12. Because 60 divided by 12 is 5. 5 times 12 is 60. So that's going to be 5. 48 divided by 12, that's going to be 4. Okay, so we have 5 over 4. Cool. And so with that said, how many times does 4 go into 5? It goes in there 1 whole time. And if I take away that 4, you have a remainder of 1. 1 and 1/4. And that's, again, the same answer as number 16, but we're good there. Next up, or it was 10 and 1/4, but here's 1 and 1/4. Let's go to number 18, and then we're going to move forward into the hard section. If you're struggling with the ASVAB, then it might be time to check out my ASVAB All-Access Program. It has all of my classes and the recordings, all the practice problems that you ever need, and you can text me whenever you need help. So there's much more to it, but feel free to click the link right here in this video or in the description that tells you a lot more about the program, and there's a video explaining how it all works. If you have any questions, I'm Coach Anderson. Find my contact info and reach out to me if you have any. Let's get to it and let's ace the ASVAB. So this looks ridiculous, right? 828 over 270? No worries. Stay calm, cool, and collected. You got this. What can we divide both of these by? Well, what I know is that 828 and 270, those are both even numbers. If they're even, divide them by 2. That's exactly what I'll do to begin. So 828. 800 turns into 400. 28 turns into 14. So this is 414. And then 270 divided by 2, that's going to be, 200 goes down to 100. 70 divided by 2 is 35. Again, you need to know this, and notice how I'm using mental math here. Go into my mental math section if you haven't been there already. Mental math is king. Practicing your mental math will help you so much. But we have 135. Okay, now if we're looking at this, we might be a little taken aback, right? We're looking at this like, whoa, how do we go from here, right? So this is where you want to ask yourself, well, what are the factors of each number that I can kind of consider? Well, the thing is, my party people, here's the thing. One thing I know is if I look at 270, I know that 270 is basically going to be 9 times 3, which is 27, and then 27 times 10 is 270. So notice what I just did there. So let's say you are here and you're stuck, and you don't know how to keep going, which we know how to keep going. I'm going to show you in a second. But let's pretend that we didn't. Another good strategy to simplify fractions is to list those factors out like this. I know that 270 is, again, 9 times 3 is 27, and then you multiply by 10. And so 828, what you're going to ask yourself is, well, is 828 divisible by 3, or divisible by 10, or divisible by 9? Is it divisible? I'm going to take a bet and say that perhaps it's divisible by 3. Perhaps. And the way that I know it's divisible by 3 is the rule for 3. If you don't know the rule for 3, it's this. To know it's divisible by 2, it just has to be even. For it to be divisible by 3, the digits need to add up to a multiple of 3. So check this out. 8 plus 2 plus 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. Is 18 divisible by 3? Yeah, so that's how you know it's divisible by 3. Same thing over here. 4, 1, and 4. 4 plus 1 is going to be 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. Is 9 divisible by 3? Yeah, so that's how you can tell that is divisible. They're both divisible by 3. They both are. Absolutely. And so you can take your work here. You can just forget about that for a moment. And you can say, hey, I can actually divide both of these by 3. Now, you'll need to use your mental math to get this done very quickly, or if you need to write it out, hey, that's on you. But my suggestion is always being able to do this quickly mentally. 3 going into 4, 14. So here, 3 goes into 4 one time. Then you have 11. 3 goes into 11 3 times, because that's 9. 3 times 3 is 9. Then bring in that 4 right there. 3 goes into 24 8 times. So you have yourself 138, because this divides out cleanly. So we have ourselves now 138. And then in the denominator, what do we have? Well, what we have in our denominator is going to be 135 divided by 3. That's going to be, well, you can split up 135 into 120 and 15. With mental math, 120 divided by 3 is going to be 40. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So this becomes 45. Again, I'm showing you different ways here. The way that you calculate this with your long division or mental math or calculator, on you. I'm just exploring different ways with you. Feel free to skip past this if you already know how to do it. So here we are, 138 over 45. Is there anything else we can do here? Well, guess what? Yes, yeah, there is. Because here, 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 8 is going to be what? 12. 12 is divisible by 3. 4 plus 5 is 9. This is also divisible by 3. So let me divide out another 3. So let me go ahead and remove this. Let me divide out another 3. So I know that 45 divided by 3 is 15, because 15, 30, 45. Now, 138 divided by 3, what's that going to be? Well, use some mental math if you want to, or long division, not going to stop you. But 138 is 120 and 18. And I'm doing that because 120 is divisible by 3, that's 40. 18 divisible or divided by 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. So I have 40 and I have 6. 46. Booyah. Now, with that said, now that I'm here, well, okay. Is there anything else I can do? Not that I can tell. 15 is 3 times 5, and 46 is not divisible by 3 or by 5. And so, looks like I'm good now to convert. So what I'll do here is I will convert by saying, hey, how many times does 15 go into 46? So if you ask yourself that question, 15 goes into 46 3 times. Because as we saw earlier, 15 times 3 is 45. So this right here is your whole. That's your whole. And the remainder, 46 minus 45, 1, that's what remains. Right here, with my big old head in the way. That's what remains. And so we turn this into 3 as the whole number with 1 over the 15 that's still there. 1 over the 15 that's still right there. So 3 and 1/15 is going to be our answer, and that's going to be C. So those are your examples for the medium section. Notice how we had to do quite a bit more work here. We had to simplify a little more, but then at the end of the day, we had it down. Now let's take a look at these hard ones here. Let's see if we have any hard ones here. Oh, that was it. So we just had 2 sections here. So we had easy section and medium section. And now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and allow us, because I did 3 examples here. We could do one more example. Yeah, let's go and do one more. Let's do number 19 real quick. So number 19, and then what you're going to do after this again, move forward, work on the worksheet yourself, or if you're ready, go into the speed drills. Practice it, time yourself, see how many you can get right, and then keep trying it and trying it and trying it with different questions every time. So 304 over 72. What can we do here? Well, 304 and 72 are both divisible by 2. They're both even. So just start off right there, just like that. Because 300 divided by 2 is 150. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that's 152. There are 72 divided by 2, that's going to be 36. Cool. Perfect. All right, so with that said, what can we continue doing here? What can we do? Well, one thing I noticed is if I look at the answer choices, which every now and then, sure, you can do that to kind of check to see where you're at if you're taking a multiple choice test. But I'm here and I see that there's a 36 here. Nowhere else. So is it possible that 36 stays where it is? No, because you have an 8 there. That is not in simplest form. That is not in simplest form. No, it is not. So, because they're both even. There's more to do there. Don't do that. So what can I do? Well, these are both still even. Keep dividing by 2. Keep dividing by 2. So 152 divided by 2, what is that? Well, you can think about it like this. 150 divided by 2 is 75. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 75 plus 1 is 76. Or you can think of it as 140 and 12. 140 divided by 2, 70. 12 divided by 2 is 6, 76. Again, mental math really, really helps out in this case. Rewind that if you wanted to hear that again. But let's now take care of 36 divided by 2, and that'll be 18. Okay, so we still have numbers divisible by 2 here. They're both still even, so I'll divide by 2 again. Just keep dividing by 2, and eventually you'll realize when the number is divisible by 4, or by 8, or by 16, etc. But 76 divided by 2, that is 38. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Sweet. Sounds good. Are we done here? No, not yet. We still have to convert this into a mixed number. But I'm looking at 38 and 9. 38 is 19 times 2. 9 is 3 times 3. They don't have anything in common. So now I can go ahead and reduce this. Now I will. So what I'll do here, or turn this into a mixed number, I'll do 9 going into 36, or 38, excuse me. 9 goes into 38, how many times? Well, what this will be, 9 goes into 38, that's going to be 4 times. Take away 9 times 4, which is 36, and that's 2. So remember, what you get as the result here, that is your whole. So this equals 4 in front of the number, in front of the fraction is the whole number, and this over here is your remainder. This is your remainder. So I wrote that in chicken scratch, sorry about that, but that's going to be 2 over 9, and now we have 4 and 2/9. Booyah! And there it is. And so my party people, look, at the end of the day, like really what this is all about is really making sure that you know how to do the little things exceptionally well. That's what this has been about, and that's what this will be about. And so my party people, what I look forward to doing with you is moving on to the next section, try the worksheet out yourself, see what you got, and remember that the answers are going to be in the next pages over here, right over there. So all the way over here, you have the answers circled for you or starred, and just go ahead, put in that work, check your work at the end, and then move forward to the speed drill to test yourself out with speed practice all the way through. And so with that said, my party people, again, I'm Coach Anderson. Happy to be your math coach. I'll see you in the next video. Let's keep having fun and let's raise that score. See you there.